Hey guys, it's Mark Yegi here, giving you kind of a summary video. It's basically a two-part video. The first part is to show you how I closed out a trade yesterday on MicroStrategy covered call. It was the 400s that I had, and I closed that out. Of course, the market went down after I did it, and everybody was scrambling around because the market was down 1,100 points yesterday. So a lot of coaching going on over here on my end. But at the same time, I'm putting together the math portion of what I've been doing over the last month or so. And so you're going to get kind of a synopsis of what's going on, and the market's down, right? The market's down significantly, and I'll show you how that math works out and why we focus on the juice. When the market goes back up, I might do another math video for you, but right now I think you've got enough to kind of see that you don't really get too hammered in a position if you learn how to use the juice. So when we started this position, it was maybe 120, 130 points higher than it is now. And we've collected, well, I'll show you in the math portion if you stay tuned. So part one is just getting out of this this quick trade on the 400s that are going to expire Friday. And part two is going to be the full math summary on the MicroStrategy series up until now. So this is like video number 17 or 18 or something like that on the MicroStrategy series. And you'll see where we are on the juice. Fed just cut rates by 1/4 of a point, and the markets are taking it on the chin. This is an update on that MicroStrategy position, so you're going to be excited because we're going to close out our position today if everything stays the same while I'm yapping here, and then we're going to be able to do our math video, which is going to take all the math for the last month and put it on a spreadsheet and show you how much money we've made. I think I have an idea of where we are. I want to put it on a spreadsheet and give you the official numbers, but it's not going to happen until I close out this trade. So let's take a look at that. What you see on your screen here is the 30-minute chart. So you're seeing, you know, the stock kind of opened down, it popped back up, and then after the Fed made their announcement, now the stock is back down. It's down about 10 bucks, and so now MicroStrategy is at 376.88. What does that mean for us? Well, let's take a look. So I've got the 250 calls as my base position. It's called a synthetic. It's an in-the-money call that expires in 184 days, so 6 months out. And I've got 7 contracts. Against those, I've got the 400s. So the 400s only have 2 days left to expiration. Now I could just wait and pick up this extra $2,730. That's how much money is left in the trade. That's the juice left that I have to buy back if I want to get out of it. If I want to wait till Friday and buy it back on Friday at $359 or whatever, then it's going to be zero. But why wait for that? I've already made $19,171 in just a few days. And all I'm going to do is open myself up to the risk that this thing bounces and goes back up over 400, and I would have been able to take this this $19,000 off the table. I'm still going to get the whole $19,000. Okay, that's why we talk about focusing on the juice. The juice always comes to us, right? We get 100% of the juice if we wait till expiration or right before expiration. A lot of you are asking me questions like, Mark, you're in the money, and I'm not right now, but if you're in the money, aren't you going to get assigned the stock? Well, yeah, if I let it expire, but usually I don't. And so right now I'm rolling it, or I'm actually just going to buy it back today, and then I'll probably roll either later on after I get my numbers together, or maybe tomorrow or whatever. But I've already made, looks like what, 90% of my juice for the week. So I'm good with that. So let's see what we can do from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right mouse click here on Thinkorswim. That's the platform I'm using, by the way. And I'm going to say, look, I'm just going to buy these contracts back at the market. So I'm going to right mouse click, create a closing order, buy MicroStrategy. I always want to read my order back to me. Buy 7 of the contracts that are expiring on Friday, December 20th, 400 calls. I'm going to do it at the market, confirm and send. That's what I want to do. Boom. There we go. So we got our fill, and now that means we take all that money off the table. We always want to check our account after we get our fill, and it shows I have 0 left of those. So right now I'm a little bit, I call it flying commando, right? But I've made my money for the week. I've made 90% of my juice for the week. You just saw $19,000, and I would think I was going to make $22,000 or $21,000. So I'm happy to make $19,000 because I still have 2 days left of whatever happens to the stock. Now we hope the stock is going to go up, but I have no idea if it's not. But I've made 90% of my juice. I'm happy to pull that off the table. I don't like being commando, which means I don't have a covered position. So I'm probably going to go back in after I start doing the numbers here and sell another call, and I'll keep you posted when I do that. But I also may, in fact, I'm going to do this now. The stock is now at $374, down $12. I'm gonna buy one more contract because I've made all this juice and I can still pick up buying one more contract. So while you're here, while I'm here, why don't I just go ahead and buy one more contract? So I'm gonna kind of hack this, right? Sell, so I'm gonna turn this into a buy. I'm gonna change this to a 1. I don't know how else to do it, but it's not that hard. Buy one, MicroStrategy, June 25, 250 call at the market. Now, why? I'm getting market weakness, which has given me opportunity to take some of the juice that I've made and buy another little fortification position, okay? That's what I call the flow of the cash flow machine. The stock goes up, you're collecting your juice, you might have to use some of your money to invest working capital to buy over your strike price, but when it comes down, you want to take advantage of the fact that you've got a cheaper stock. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So I'm gonna hit confirm and send, make sure I read it back. I'm buying one MicroStrategy 250 call at the market. And there we have it. Now we always want to go back and check our position. So let's do that. I have 8 contracts and now I can do the math. All right, this is time to make a summary. We're about a month into this trade and a lot of you are wondering if it's a profit, it's a loss. Some of you are wondering if I've lost money because I've had to roll up or if I've lost money because I've had to roll down. And let me just say as an override, this is all about the juice. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to show you here how the juice can set you free, right? So you got to pay attention to that. And so here are all the transactions that have happened. I pulled up 11/18/2024 to 12/19. That's all my MicroStrategy transactions. So you can see all the transactions. But you know what? How hard is that to figure out for our brains to figure that out, right? So I'm using technology and I've created a spreadsheet from all of this. So I just went ahead and exported it, and you can do this too. You export all your transactions and then you got to take a little bit of time to kind of organize them. So I'm organizing them, and here's the organization that I've got. Let me show you how the page sets up on this organization. So all of these positions are right in here. You can see these. I don't need to go over all what these are, right? But this is my long position. So this is my base position, right? And you know that we're using synthetics, and so you could see, follow along as I've bought 5 contracts, and then what I did is I realized I don't need to be out till January of 2027. So I sold those and I went to the June of 2025 contracts at the 250 strike price. You see that? So a little bit of a mistake there right at the beginning of the trade, cost me $4,000. But the bottom line is I got to move this to a little bit closer expiration, spend a little bit less money and control the same number of shares, right? So we bought 2 and then 5 on that same date at the beginning of this trade on 11/21, and then I added a contract just right yesterday, right? So right as we are looking at this market open, I bought another contract yesterday, and you could see how much cheaper it was because the stock has come down an awful lot. I'll show you what the stock did in just a second when I kind of do the summary here, okay? So this base position has now cost me for 8 contracts. I have 8 contracts. It's now cost me $223,000, okay? Cool. I still own it for another 6 months. So you know what? I kind of forget it. And somebody in the comments says, why do you forget about your base position? Well, because unless the stock goes out of business, I control 800 shares of MicroStrategy. Period. End of story. Whether it's stock or whether it's in synthetic, it's going to go up and down. I know that. I don't need to worry about that. What I want to concentrate on is I want to concentrate on the amount of money that I'm bringing in income, in juice, is extrinsic value, in out of the money amount, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you on the screen what you're now looking at. All of these positions here are the remaining short positions that I had to go in and organize them, and that's why I've got them divided by color. And so you can see the very first trade, right after we bought those calls, over here at the base position, we sold to open 5 contracts, right? And we got $104.40 for them, right? And so that brought in $52,000 into the account. Now that was pretty in the money if I remember right. Yeah, it was $104.40 and the stock was way higher, right? And I was way in the money. Like the stock I think right here was like $475 if I remember right. And so I got all this juice that came in, and I was really happy with that because when the stock actually came down, if you remember from that first video or that second or third video, I can't remember, but in this series, the MicroStrategy series, you're seeing a lot of videos. I think I got 17 videos in the series now because I want you to follow along with the trade. And you could see, hey, I was deep in the money. I didn't lose money. It came back. It was a cushion for me. Notice how when I closed this trade out, I made $71,884. Why? I got the in the money amount into the account, and I got the juice into the account. Now, the in the money amount I kind of don't care about because it's being offset by the base position. If the base position goes up, my in the money amount goes up, right, on the short position. So those two kind of offset. My in the money goes, or the base position goes down, my in the money amount goes down. They kind of offset, right? So I'm now keeping track of each short position where I sell to open, I open the trade, okay, 5 and 2, and then I close the trade a week later, a little bit more than a week later, and I made $71,884. Now that's not all profit, but that's the way I do the accounting, so you're stuck with it, right? So that brought in $71,884, and then I immediately went, or at some point there, I opened, oh no, this is the put. Remember I did a put spread on this thing? And so forget about the puts because I'll just be real quick. We made 31.18 on the put, okay? And you know, we sold a put and we bought a put position to hedge it, and we made $3 grand on that in a week. Okay, now we're getting back to the calls here. So you notice how I put the put in bold, all right? And then we sold the MicroStrategy 400s again that expire in 12 of 06. So you see these were expiring 11/29. This was the next week. So we got $25.84 for those, brought $18,000 into the account, but we rolled them prior to expiration, I guess. I'm trying to remember what we did. Anyway, you're getting the point. We made $8,000 on that trade. On the next call, and you can go back and watch all of these. I got all of them on YouTube so that you can learn from this. I made $5,000 in that green box there, right? And then I rolled up. Now this was kind of a mistake, is that I rolled up. I got really excited when Bitcoin finally broke $100,000, and I was like, well, I'm gonna roll up because there's not much juice left in it, and what I'm gonna do is it's gonna keep going, right? I got excited, and I didn't follow my rule. My rule is don't get emotional. I was like, okay, it's 100,000, it's going up. I'm gonna make money when it goes up, so I'm gonna roll up higher. And I bought those back. Well, that cost me, wasn't a loss, by the way, everybody. It cost me some extra working capital, right? I got a lot of my juice back. All right, that's okay. That's a cost of doing business. That's fine. Then this purple one, I made $23,000 on the trade. And then this other green one, I made $19,000 on the trade. On the other one, this was the one I made a mistake on. Do you guys remember that? Like somebody, a couple people on the comments said, hey man, I think you wanted to sell your calls and you bought your calls. So I'm logging it because I'm trying to be totally transparent. I happen to get lucky and I made money on that. So when you add all of these up over the last month, I've brought in a net of $104,000, and that counts this $29,000 cost that a lot of you people are thinking is a loss. It doesn't look like so much of a loss to me because I'm focusing on the juice. You get it? So I brought in $104,000 into the account, and my base position has cost me $223,000. All right. Well, a lot of you are like, well, look, if you net those out, you know, you've lost money. Well, this is like owning a house, right? I still own this position, and that means I can just keep selling it for the next 6 months. It's got 6 months till expiration. How cool is that? So all of this, you can look at it this way. I've brought this basis cost on my base position down by almost half, right? So it cost me half the price. So I'm reducing my risk by collecting the juice. That's the secret of what we do here at the Cash Flow Machine. We reduce the price, the basis, the cost of your base position, and now your risk is just coming off the table. And a lot of people are like, well, this is a very risky stock, and yeah, I understand all that, but that's why we're getting the juice, because the riskier the stock, the more juice you get. But you got to buy a good stock with a good story that you believe in. And this stock is frankly all over the place. It's like one of the craziest stocks I've ever seen. But you know what? If you know how to harness it, if you could sell in the money when you need to, if you could sell out of the money when you need to, you could sell at the money when you need to, you'll harvest all of that stuff together. Take a look at the first trade we ever did, and that was 11.20. That's the first video I made, and it's the first trade I did, 11.20. Now let's look at the chart. On 11.20, which is what, right in here, okay? This is where we did that first trade. It was in this range. So the stock was at, I don't know, I think it was like 477 if I recall correctly. You can correct me if you want, but it's close enough. Anyway, it's in this bar. So this bar was moving around, and the high on the bar was 500 and the low on the bar was 457. Do you remember how I sold the 400s? I wasn't sucked into this. And then you know what? The very next day, the stock actually went up all the way to 543. And it came all the way down to about 371, if I remember right. Yeah, like 371. But you know what? I didn't care so much because I had the 400s, which means I didn't lose any money from the 543 where it was a euphoric high, and it came all the way down to here. So I didn't lose any money down to the bottom of this candle right here. You see that? And so that's the beauty of in the money covered calls, which is a strategy that we teach. I don't know anybody else that really talks about it very much, but you could see the results, right? Pretty cool. And then I want you to really notice that when we started this trade, the stock was at 470, 475. It went all the way up, it went all the way down, and you know where it is today? It's at 357.93. And we've made $104,000 and we've reduced our risk. Do you see the power of this? Okay, enough of that. I'll end it right there. I hope you understand the math and how this works. And for the next 6 months, I may not be doing videos every day anymore, but for the next 6 months, my goal is to sell against this stock. Sell against this stock, put in the juice, create the income. Because look at how much I've made in a month, right? Isn't it cool to make $104,000 in a month? And just to give you a quick idea of how de-risking this account using covered calls is, if you look at this account right now, I can turn around and sell that entire base position, even though it has 6 months left on it, for $121,000. So I've made $104,000 realized, plus the $121,000 I just showed you. That's $225,000. And you go back to that basis that I showed you before, and you can see that's $223,000. So I could close out this whole position and have gained or lost nothing. But the stock is down, you know, from 543 or whatever it is, all the way down to where it is today. And so I like that because now this week I'm going to go out and try to make another $15,000 this week, and the next week, and the next week, and that's another 60 to 100,000 I'm going to try to bring in for the next month. I don't know if I could do it or not. I'm going to try. So I've reduced my basis. A lot of people are making comments like, yeah, but what happens if MicroStrategy tanks? Well, MicroStrategy tanks. If the stock I owned tanked, it would be the same kind of thing. The difference is on a synthetic, of course, if it tanks below $250, now I'm out of the money. And so now I'm just hanging by the, whatever the value of the juice is. I don't want to be in that position. I could be. It's $100 below here. I have to be really wary of that, and I have total strategies set up for what I do then. What I will do then, just as an overview, and I'll probably do another video on this, I got several videos about that, is I will roll down, right? I'll roll that down from the 250s to maybe the 220s. I might roll it out from June to September, depending on when it is, right? I might do both, right? And so it's not like that's it. I've got the base position, it's 250. Yeah, if the stock opens down $100, I'm going to be in trouble. But you know what I'm going to keep doing? Selling, against the stock, creating juice so that juice will be able to help me afford to roll down. Yes, there was risk, but if you're thinking that you're in the money and it doesn't work, I just proved it to you that it does. A lot of these trades were in the money, some were at the money, very few were out of the money. But I plan on doing them according to my trading plan, and trying to maximize where I think that balance is. But the goal is to bring in income into my account. So I hope you're understanding it. That's the math video. That's wrapping up this first series in MicroStrategy, but I might do some updates as we go along. But thanks for being here and enjoying what we've been doing. Let's hope that MicroStrategy kind of stays the same or slightly goes up. I kind of don't care because I'm getting the income, and every time I get income, I reduce my basis. Income, reduce basis. Income, reduce basis. You get it? All right. I teach this stuff all the time. If you want to get involved in some of my courses, awesome. If you don't, that's cool. You can just watch the videos that we have here. But there's more to it than buying a stock and selling a call, as you see, right? It's a whole mindset shift, right? You have to figure out, what do you do after you get into the trade? Like most people up here were thinking this MicroStrategy is going to go to 1,000. And so we're buying calls. Well, we don't buy calls, right? As the main part of our investment. We might do it as a base position. But we're selling calls because the selling is where we make the money. So if you were euphoric and even selling at the money, you're still in a deficit situation, right? And that happens too. But if you've got the shares and you want to sell against it, the juice will bail you out on that too. Make sense? So it's not buying a stock and selling a call against it. There's way more to selling covered calls and doing covered calls than that, right? It's what do you do after the trade, but really it's what's up here. What's up here is the main gig, right? And this is 90% of your trading is what's between these two ears, okay? Because I'm telling you, this stock will mess with you. Yesterday it was down like 40, 50 points. It will mess with you, especially if you don't have it in the money protection. Anyway, enough on that. Thanks for being here, and hopefully you'll subscribe and like and all that kind of stuff. Set the notification bell and hang with me, and I'll keep keeping you updated on different things that I'm doing. Take care. Bye. Hi, Mark Yagi here. Ready to transform your financial future? Well, I'm inviting you to my special live income accelerator. It's your ultimate 4-week live training designed to supercharge your income. This live training runs 4 Wednesdays in a row starting on January 15th. Not only will you get actionable strategies for how to create income using covered calls, but you'll also receive my fast launch trading course and exclusive mentorship from me throughout the 4 weeks. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned investor, this training is designed to fit your needs. And because I like to keep my groups small, you'll get personalized attention. Join today to secure our early bird pricing for just $19.97. It's normally $39.97. And grab some extra bonuses before the class even starts. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Your financial future is just a click away. See you in the Income Accelerator. Visit the link to join now. Hey, it's Mark Yagi, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button right now. It helps get the same kind of material out to other people and helps me grow the channel a little bit. Also, if you would like the video, if you think it's cool, great. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down, but tell me why you're giving me a thumbs down so I can get better. And then hit the notification bell, and that way you get the videos as soon as they come out, because I give you timely information a lot of the time, and you want to know what happens before that information gets stale. Thanks for being here.